My husband left the family to join a group of men without women, and years later, he crawled back, hoping for a warm welcome. I'm 29, married 6 years ago, but we've been divorced for 3 years now. I have 2 sons from my ex-husband Adam, who is 30. The kids are 4 and 5 years old, and I have full custody of them because he didn't want to carry the burden of family life. We were happy for 3 years in marriage, had 2 beautiful kids, and even planned to buy our own house to move out of our apartment. Then suddenly, he says, I want to be free and explore the world. We had been together since school, we were everything to each other, he was my first in everything, and I was his. I always thought we would be together forever, and it seemed like he was okay with not having much experience with other women besides me. But after 3 years of marriage, he said he wasn't happy and wanted us both to free ourselves from the burden, referring to our marriage and family, to live life to the fullest. It sounded like nonsense to me, not the words of a sane person, as my father would say. I didn't understand anything because I was sure he loved me. Adam insisted he did love me, but he also loved himself and wanted to give himself a chance to explore the world. I even suggested we make the marriage open for a while, though it would hurt me. I was willing to do anything to keep him with me and not have him leave for good. But he wasn't okay with this idea. He was determined to get a divorce to do things properly. After this conversation, I was crushed because it all hit me like a ton of bricks. When I cried, he told me everything would be okay and that I should believe in our love. He said if we were meant to be together, he would definitely come back to me. It was so ridiculous and unfair, but that's how our marriage ended. One beautiful day, he just packed his things and left to explore the world alone, leaving me and the kids without a second thought. I asked him what he thought would happen to the children, and he suggested leaving them with someone I trusted while he went off on his journey, meeting new people and living actively to grow. I was in shock because, in my opinion, if you bring children into this world, your duty is to raise them, protect them, and meet all their needs. A parent just can't leave to explore life, abandoning their children. It was then that I realized he had lost his mind, so I stopped resisting the divorce and didn't contest it. It went smoothly because he didn't want anything and was ready to give it all up. His parents were wealthy, so there were no issues with alimony and child support. He got visitation rights but almost never used them. Even when he visited, he made me take the kids to his parents' house, and he stayed in another room to avoid facing the past. These visits stopped after the first couple of months. The truth behind his behavior came much later from my friend Rachel, who had mutual friends with Adam. Rachel's cousin was in the same group of friends that influenced Adam, and he was the one who told her everything. About 2 months after our divorce, I learned why Adam had really left. I don't blame Rachel for not telling me sooner because she wasn't close to her cousin, and she only found out the truth when the divorce was already final. Besides, even if I had known earlier, it wouldn't have changed my decision to divorce. According to Rachel, her cousin lived a reckless lifestyle, always seeking adventures, and it wasn't just him. The whole group of guys, about 6 or 7, believed that relationships only get in the way, so they made a pact of loneliness. Adam joined this group through his colleague, who thought Adam would fit right in, even though at the time, Adam was married with 2 kids. Rachel's cousin boasted to her and other family members about how they had managed to convince one guy, Adam, that he didn't need his wife and kids, that he had to drop the burden to succeed in life. And that's exactly what Adam did. He divorced and gave up custody of the kids to fully dedicate himself to their ideology. He bragged that their group had gained popularity and that they had successfully recruited a new member. Rachel, curious, asked her cousin what kind of guy would leave his family for the sake of new friends. When her cousin pointed to Adam and a group photo taken at some event, she connected the dots and immediately messaged me. It all happened at a family gathering at Rachel's. As soon as the event ended, she rushed to my apartment and told me the whole truth about what had happened with Adam. I was furious when I learned the real reason my husband had left. Turns out he did it to join a group and seem brave, free, and adventurous. He abandoned his wife and kids for this nonsense, and when I realized this was serious, I honestly thought it would have been easier if he had just slept with another woman. At least that would have been a more reasonable excuse for destroying the family and abandoning the kids. But this? Hell no. I wanted to call him and curse him out, but I didn't when I realized the real reason he left. I finally understood he had lost his mind. There was no point in hoping my words or actions would make him reconsider. I knew for sure they wouldn't, so I decided to make the best out of the situation and raise my sons to be better men than their father. I started working twice as hard so they would never feel abandoned. I hired a nanny and worked even harder so I wouldn't bring work home, and when I returned, my time was completely dedicated to the kids. My parents helped a lot, and even my ex-in-laws tried to help, though they did it minimally, probably out of shame for their son's actions. They paid the alimony every month, and I knew it because I heard that Adam spent all his money on exotic trips and luxury hotels. Now that he didn't have a family, he could waste everything on nonsense without anyone judging him. I raised my children as best as I could, and now I have 2 sweet, obedient, and loving boys. We're the only family we need. I almost completely forgot about Adam because thinking about our marriage only wasted my nerves. I worked hard, and now I have a great position and earn twice as much as before. The past 2 years have been great, and I thought I had nothing more to worry about until last week when Adam showed up out of the blue after 3 years of complete absence. We were at home with the kids because it was Sunday. We have enough money now to buy our own house, but I stayed in this apartment because I love it and it's convenient for work. I guess I should have moved, but because I stayed in the same place, Adam knew where to find me. That day, he just showed up at our door without warning, and honestly, it felt like the air left my lungs. So many years had passed. For the first few seconds, we were both silent, and I just looked at him, this awkward big bouquet of red roses, his smile through tears. Call me heartless, but I didn't feel any warmth or excitement, only pure, burning hate. Before he could say anything, I slammed the door with all my might, and the floor shook. I told the kids to go to their rooms because I knew he would try to convince me of something, and I knew I wouldn't be able to stay calm. Hatred, resentment, and anger were boiling inside me, and I didn't want the kids to witness the chaos that was about to unfold. As soon as the kids left, Adam started whining that he didn't expect such a reception. I could hear how he was trying with all his might not to cry, and it made me even angrier. He's the one who did this to me and the kids for years, and now he dares to shed tears and act like the victim. He then began telling me that he came back to apologize, that he regretted everything he did in the past, and now he just wants to get his old life back. I was in shock but let him finish because some part of me wanted to hear this apology, whatever that word meant. I had completely erased him from my mind, but his sudden appearance stirred everything up, and maybe in some twisted way, I was enjoying the chance to put him in his place. I wanted him to know that without him, things had only gotten better, and no one missed him. He talked for a few minutes about how much fun he had all these years, but in the end, he felt empty because returning meant there was no one to come back to accept an empty hotel room. He admitted that the thrill of traveling and discovering life with his new friends had worn off after just a few months, but he continued to hold on to this lifestyle because he was afraid of coming back. He thought that since he sacrificed so much for it, he now had to stick with it, but now he just wanted to turn everything back. The more he talked, the more I wanted to open the door and punch him in his stupid face with all my strength. I couldn't listen to this nonsense anymore, so I told him to leave us alone, that I never wanted to see or hear from him again. But Adam, being Adam, was convinced that if he kept begging and pleading at the door, he could change my mind. At one point, it started to really annoy me, and the kids needed to be called for dinner, so I just banged on the door and yelled at him that we weren't his family anymore and that he needed to get out already. I think that really shocked him because I didn't hear from him after that. When the kids were having dinner, I immediately called my lawyer and told them everything that happened, just in case. Then I called my parents, told them about Adam's visit, what he said, and what I responded. They reassured me that I did the right thing and didn't have to worry. I didn't call my ex-in-laws because I didn't know what to say to them, and I was sure their son would tell them everything. But as soon as I finished those calls, Rachel called me, and since she was the one who once told me the truth about why Adam left, I knew she was going to say something important. And I was right. The first thing she asked was if Adam had come to me, and I said yes. Then she told me that her cousin had recently called her and told her exactly why Adam came back. Rachel and I are very close, and after she passed me the information from her cousin, she asked him to always tell her everything about Adam, because he was the one who abandoned me. When Rachel's cousin found out about me, I think he immediately lost the pride he had in recruiting Adam. I don't blame him, the only one to blame is Adam for being spineless. Her cousin promised us he would keep us updated on what's going on with Adam, and even once reached out to me to apologize. I forgave him, I didn't have any complaints against him, but we certainly didn't become friends. He told Rachel everything Adam had been up to, and that's how I kept track of what was going on with him all this time. By the way, after the divorce, he blocked me everywhere, but now, Rachel's cousin got in touch again to tell her why Adam really came back, and she immediately passed everything on to me. They had a group chat with everyone from their company since the time they met. A couple of hours before Adam showed up at my door, he posted in the chat that he was going to do this. His friends seemed to support him, but Adam suddenly freaked out, accusing them of fake support. He yelled at them, saying they betrayed him because he sacrificed his whole life, left his wife and kids to live like they did, but now, they all have relationships, and he was left alone, like an idiot who really abandoned his family for fun with the guys. Meanwhile, all of them are now in serious relationships, and one of them is even engaged. So, all their boasting from the past was thrown out the window. The only one who really suffered was Adam because he was the only fool who believed the nonsense they were preaching. A serious argument broke out between Adam and these guys. These were the same people who once congratulated him for leaving me, and now they themselves wanted the life he had given up for them. Although they tried to support him when he said he wanted to return, it wasn't enough for him. He wanted them to apologize for making him leave his wife and kids. This is what the whole argument was about. The guys refused to apologize because, as they said, they were only sharing their views, but none of them ever told Adam he had to leave us to be part of their group. He would have had to give up on traveling the world and living like they did because he had obligations at home. But he still could have stayed friends with them. No one ever put an ultimatum on him, he chose to leave us to live the way he thought he wanted, just to blend in with the group. Now, when most of these guys got into relationships, he felt the pressure again, wanted to be like everyone else, and that's why he came back, not out of duty or emptiness, as he told me. When I heard all this from Rachel, I was shaking because I had felt guilty for kicking him out. That's why I called my parents, wanting to hear that I did the right thing, and if I had known all this beforehand, he would have really gotten what he deserved. But Rachel's cousin had been too busy with work, and while they were discussing everything in the chat, he didn't check his phone, so he didn't know anything. When he finally saw the messages, he immediately told Rachel, and she called me. I learned all this after Adam's visit. Now that I know the real reason he came back, I've finally decided I'll never let him back, and I'm not going to feel guilty either. He never once felt guilty for what he made me and the kids go through, so why should I feel anything? He's just a terrible person. Music. I mentally prepared myself for him to try crawling back, but that didn't happen. The next couple of days, I didn't hear anything. I even asked Rachel to check with her cousin if he knew anything, but he said he had no idea, because Adam had blocked everyone in the group, even Rachel's cousin, who didn't participate in the conflict and found out about everything afterward. That was a problem for me because if even the cousin was blocked, I lost all access to information about what Adam would do next. Adam is the type of person who, before buying himself some damn shoes, will discuss it with 5 people. He doesn't do anything without consulting others, but now that he blocked everyone, I'm in the dark. So, when my ex-in-laws called me 3 days ago, I was caught off guard and didn't know what to expect. They said they were calling to discuss what I said to Adam when he came to me to make things right. I replied that I didn't want him back, and that was it. But they started defending him, saying they had been paying alimony all this time and made sure their grandchildren lacked nothing. So, I shouldn't claim that we're no longer his family. We argued on the phone because they started defending him, and in the end, I just hung up. I've been replaying this in my head, and I still don't understand where I went wrong. I really don't think I did anything bad. But in one thing, they were right, they did fulfill their part of the agreement, and legally, Adam still has visitation rights with the kids. But he hasn't used them in years. I don't know what to do now. On one hand, I really want my kids to have a father, even though I'm managing just fine on my own. So I don't want to take anything from him. I'm not even sure I have the legal right to do so. I just can't make sense of it all right now. The only thing I care about is my kids. Was I wrong to tell my ex-husband that we weren't his family anymore after he abandoned us for 3 years?